Hey everyone, it's Allie and welcome to my channel, and today I am super excited to talk with you about all of the books that I read during the months of June and July. Okay, so I read 12 books during the months of June and July, which I feel like is not really a lot for me actually. I've been in a little bit of a reading rut, but it's summer. I think that's kind of normal. I feel like fall and winter are when I tend to spend like all my free time reading, and I just haven't been reading as much the last couple months. And I also have been gradually accumulating a lot of books that I'm extremely excited to read this fall. So definitely be on the lookout for a very big fall haul, probably coming in the next few weeks. But I am a little bit of a mood reader. I was trying to read kind of more summery books during the last few months, and I think I just, for some reason, tend to like the moodier fall winter era books more. So maybe that's why I wasn't like dying to get to some of these. But up first was one that I actually did really enjoy. This is Such a Quiet Place by Megan Miranda. And I would say Megan Miranda is really quickly becoming one of my favorite authors who writes thrillers. I really enjoy thrillers. I would say it's probably my second favorite genre after historical fiction. But to me, they read the most like movies. I feel like I can get through them really quickly. A lot of them are written pretty simply, short sentences, lots of action, short chapters, just really keep you engaged. But all that to say, even though I really enjoy thrillers, I find that I give a lot of them like 4 stars. I enjoyed it, but I move on. I don't necessarily remember them that well. Authors don't really stand out to me that much. But Megan Miranda, I feel like, has stood out to me. I've read 3 of her books so far. I'm definitely gonna go back and read all the ones that I haven't yet. I can't remember the name of the last one I read by her, the second one I read, but that one was my favorite so far. It was her newest book, so I'll go ahead and put that up on the screen, but I really enjoyed this one as well. So this is kind of a take on the classic perfect suburban neighborhood isn't so perfect after all. There are a couple deaths that have taken place, and a woman was convicted and sent to prison, but she gets out early. And the book is following that girl's roommate, and she's kind of discovering things out. You're discovering things out with her. And I just really enjoyed the overall story. I liked the setting. I will say that I did guess the ending. I didn't think it was too crazy of an ending myself. And that's always a little bit of a letdown with thrillers, but I just really do like the way Megan Miranda writes, and so ultimately I did give that one 4 stars. Another one I gave 4 stars, this is the Jane Austen Society, and it's just the cutest little thing, but what is it with historical fiction books? Every single historical fiction book, I swear, it's like people walking away. You see their backs. I don't understand why like all the covers in different genres look the same. But anyway, yeah, this is the Jane Austen Society. It covers a few different periods in time, pretty much around the war era, the World War II era, but I liked that it was like during that setting, but it wasn't about the war, because those books can be a little bit heavy and they can get a little bit repetitive. So this one follows this kind of unlikely group of people. They come from all different backgrounds, and I don't want to spoil too much, I won't say too much about it, but they all have this great love of Jane Austen and want to make her a big part of their lives. And I think this is pretty loosely based on a true story. Like, I think there is a Jane Austen society, but all of the characters are made up. I didn't think it was like the best written thing ever, but I did enjoy the characters. I did enjoy following along with the story. Not the most action-packed thing, but very cute. And if you are a Jane Austen fan, I would highly recommend, because there are, of course, lots of little tidbits of Jane Austen books throughout the story. Another historical fiction, this is The Alice Network by Kate Quinn. I didn't mean to get this like little pocket version, but it's kind of cute, makes it look real thick. This one I really enjoyed, and I'm very excited to read more by Kate Quinn. I also was trying to focus on reading Reese's book club books throughout the summer, and I didn't get to all of them just because I wasn't feeling them so much. But this is set during 1947 and 1915. One of the main characters is a girl during 1915. She's a spy, and then she's also in the 1947 timeline as well. And it is just such a great story of these two women working together to find out secrets of the past, and you're learning more about the woman who is, of course, older in 1947. You're learning about her life as a spy when she was a kid in 1915 during World War I. So it's just so interesting. Again, kind of like the last one, a wartime story, but you're not like going into battle and things like that. So I really like this. Super well written. Kate Quinn is another one that I'm sure I will get to all of her books eventually. Next up, another Reese's Book Club pick. This is Something in the Water by Catherine Steadman, I think is how you say her name. And when I read her little bio in the back, I was really surprised to read that she played Mabel Lane Fox in Downton Abbey, which is probably my favorite show of all time. I just absolutely love it. I couldn't remember that character though. I have a terrible memory. I am at that point where I need to just go back and watch the series again because it's been quite a while. But I thought that that was really cool that an actress wrote this book, and it wasn't just like, oh, Hollywood star decides to write a book because she can. Like, no, she actually is a good author. This follows a young couple on their honeymoon, and they make this really exciting discovery, and it kind of creates some conflict, and you follow them as they are trying to figure out what to do about this discovery. And I really enjoyed it. Again, well written, and I did end up giving this 4.5 stars. Reese's Book Club. This is the Chicken Sisters, and the reason that I kind of wanted to pick up Reese's Book Club picks. I got most of these from Book Outlet, by the way. I would highly recommend checking it out. You can get new books for really great deals, and if you've never bought from them before, you can use the link in my description. Sorry for the plug, but literally I buy the vast majority of my books from Book Outlet. But anyway, I wanted to buy some Reese Witherspoon Book Club picks because I figured it would kind of direct me towards some books that I might not otherwise pick up. And this was definitely one of them. This is more of a literary fiction, which I do often enjoy, but sometimes I find them a little bit boring. And unfortunately, although the story I would say was okay, I just had a really hard time getting through it. This book is a big reason why I did only read 12 books during the last couple of months, because I think this took me, even though it's not very big, I think this took me a week alone to read. But I do like the idea of it, and if you like a good little like family drama, literary fiction story, I think you would enjoy this. So this follows two different chicken restaurants and the people that work for both restaurants, and they are competing, but they were started a couple generations before by sisters, I think? Sisters or cousins. And you're just like finding information out about the family as you go. And like the main thing that's going on is that one of the people, like the main character in the story, she actually reached out to a reality cooking show, and it's all about like rivalries. So the cooking show is there, the host for the show is kind of like picking and making fights happen and things like that. So that's kind of like the main thing. But it was cute. I just didn't find it like that exciting, and I wasn't like itching to know what was coming next. So I did say that this was more of like a 3.5 to a 3.8 for me. It probably would have been more of a 3 for me, but I did think it was written well, and I can appreciate that this was a decent book. It just wasn't necessarily the best pick for me. Okay, so I did not read these back to back, but since I did read two Ellen Hilderbrands, I decided I'll just kind of talk about them back to back. So if you didn't know, Ellen Hilderbrand is a beach queen. She lives in Nantucket herself, and all of her books, as far as I know, are set in Nantucket. And I read about her. It wasn't like an interview with her, it was just kind of about her. And the author of the article said that Ellen Hilderbrand is not actually liked very well, and she said that in a different interview, because a lot of the ideas she gets for her books, she gets from like just sitting at the pool and just bopping around Nantucket and like hearing rumors that other people are saying, or even stories that she knows for sure have happened, she'll turn a lot of the stuff that she hears into these books. And I will say, for like a beach read kind of author, I think she is a very solid writer, and that's why I am drawn more to her than some other summer writers. And I think she writes a mix of ones that are like set in the summer and then also like winter on Nantucket, and I have not read any of her winter ones yet, but I think that I've read 3 from her total, maybe 4. And the one thing that I just don't really like, it just rubs me the wrong way about the author, is that cheating comes up a lot in her books, and I get it, that's kind of like a common rumor thing, it's scandalous, it's an affair, but the way that she writes about cheating, and I know she's an author and it's not necessarily how she feels personally, but it just comes off that like cheating is not that big of a deal, or cheating is okay if it's like the love of your life or something like that. And I know she has kind of come under fire for certain things that she said in her book. Like in Golden Girl, for example, there is a line that says something like, "Oh, I'm gonna be stuck up here like Anne Frank." And I knew before I even started this book that a lot of people, you know, reasonably were quite upset that she put that line in there, because it really is unnecessary and it just comes off as pretty disrespectful. So I know that this book was a little bit controversial, and this one, the rumor, is one that I heard is like really based off of like actual events that happened on Nantucket, and there's a lot of scandalous things that happened. But yeah, they're both just like beachy, chill kind of reads. I think I gave them both 4 stars. All right, now we have I'm Glad My Mom Died by Jennette McCurdy. This had been on my list forever. Like as soon as it came out, I knew that I really wanted to read this book, and I knew it was going to be heavy, so I just was kind of putting it off, but I really wanted to get at least one memoir in this summer because I bought a lot back in January off of Book Outlet, and I had intended to read one every month, and I just have not done that. So I'm going to try to be a lot better about that this half of the year. But I did get through I'm Glad My Mom Died, and wow, I mean, I knew it was going to be good just because it got so much attention, and people write memoirs all the time that are Hollywood stars and they don't get nearly as much attention. And I will say this deserves all the hype. I knew a bit about her story just from interviews and things like that. Like I definitely grew up with Jennette McCurdy as a millennial who watched iCarly through like middle school, early high school. And I've kind of followed Jennette McCurdy's career, which was not super long-lived in Hollywood, which she talks a lot about in this book. But I knew some of the abuse that she suffered from her mom. She talks a lot about that in interviews, but there is really a lot more to it in this book, and was much worse than I expected. And she writes with some humor. She is kind of a comedic person. She played a comedic character on iCarly. So I feel like it's a really good balance of like, she's talking about really disturbing things. It would be disturbing if you were reading it in a novel, but knowing that this is real, this is her life, is disturbing, but she balances it with kind of a lightheartedness and humor and hope, which is very important. She wrote this story when she was in a much better place. But yeah, it definitely makes you think twice about comparing your life to celebrities and things like that, because literally every single person on this earth, whether you're rich and famous or not, every single person has struggles, and some people's struggles are so much worse than you could ever imagine. So if you're gonna read anybody's memoir, I would really recommend reading this one. Now we've got something completely different. We've got Brandon Sanderson's The Frugal Wizard's Handbook for Surviving Medieval England. And if you don't know, Brandon Sanderson is a huge, huge name in the world of fantasy, specifically epic fantasies. His most popular books, I would say, are the Mistborn trilogy, but he has this whole universe, and he's written tons and tons of books in this universe, and I'm sure I'll never get to them all, and I honestly don't think I would like them all. But yeah, he's a big name. I'm sure I'll read a solid amount throughout the rest of my life. But during COVID, Brandon Sanderson wrote some books, and they were all secret, and people pre-ordered them. I did not personally pre-order them because I hadn't read anything by him before this year, but that just kind of shows how much people enjoy his writing, that they were willing to purchase them without even having a clue what they would be about. about. And the first Secret Project book, Tress of the Emerald Sea, I really enjoyed. This one was the second one. I did not enjoy it as much, but this one is actually set outside of his normal fantastical universe. So even if you've never read anything by Sanderson before, you could easily pick this up and read it. But the general gist is this guy kind of wakes up in medieval times and he's not sure how he got there, he's not sure who he is, and he soon realizes that there's this handbook with him, but a lot of the pages are missing. So you're kind of finding out a little bit more information about this handbook along the way. You're finding out more about him, he's discovering who he is, why he's there, etc., etc. And it is kind of just like a good old adventure story where he's trying to get to another place, trying to accomplish a mission. But yeah, again, I just felt like a little bit too much going on for the amount of pages. It could have been a little bit longer or maybe a little less going on, I don't know. But he's an amazing author. There's a reason he's one of the greats. Even if you don't pick up this one by him, you gotta read something by Sanderson in your life. Next, we've got another thriller that was a Reese book club pick. This is The Club. I love the line, "Everyone's dying to join." It's like such a classic line. This one was pretty good. I had to kind of remind myself about it because I actually had read this one, I think like at the beginning of June. But basically there's this guy and he opens all these different kind of like private resorts for super A-list celebrities, and it's like invite only, so all these celebrities are like dying to get in. There's all these amenities, and kind of the reason too that celebrities really want to be able to go to all these different resorts is that they can do anything they want, even if it's horrible, disturbing, secretive things that they don't want anybody to know about, they can get away with at this resort because they're supposed to have total privacy, nobody has cell phones or anything like that. So this new resort that's being opened is on a little island. So all these celebrities are showing up for opening weekend and there's a series of events that are going on. Some people are being blackmailed, some people are ending up dead. So it's a good one. It definitely kept me hooked the entire time. Yeah, and this one I did give 5 stars. I really did enjoy it a lot. The author of this one is Ellery Lloyd. I've never read anything else by this person. Looks like, oh, I was gonna say, is that a man or a woman? But it's actually a husband and wife writing team. That's pretty fun. Okay, and then I did read 2 more that I don't have with me. So one is The Wishing Game, and I talked about this a lot if you watched my like mid-year wrap-up. This is such a cute story. I kind of just bought it on a whim from Book of the Month. I just thought, okay, that looks good. But it was so cute. I just loved the whole thing. It was pretty predictable, but like in the best way. And it's kind of like Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, but for book lovers. So I'm guessing if you watch bookish content like this, you would probably really enjoy this book. It kind of was written like a middle grade, but there was like a little tiny bit of more PG-13 language maybe. There was something in it, maybe a couple things in it that made me think, okay, this is like definitely not middle grade. And the main character is an adult too, but you know what I mean. It just kind of has like that middle grade vibe to it and was very sweet, would highly recommend. And then the last one was The Last Thing He Told Me, very fitting. This was by Laura Dave. It was a thriller. I gave it 4.5 stars. Yeah, this one I said, quick read and great for a rainy afternoon. Perfect one to get you out of a reading slump. Kept me interested, but there wasn't a massive twist. So this lady's husband goes missing and he says something to her, and that's where the title comes in, The Last Thing He Told Me. So you're just finding more information about him and the secrets that he kept from his wife. And one of the other main characters is actually the missing man's daughter. It's not the wife's daughter because the husband and wife had only been married for like a year and a half when the guy goes missing, and he had a daughter from a previous relationship, and the wife and the daughter don't really get along that well because she's like, you're not my mom. So they're having to get along a little bit better to try to find the husband. So that's a big part of the story as well that I thought was actually a nice touch. But overall, 4.5, solid read. And I know that that author is pretty popular, so I'll definitely look out for more from her. Okay, I know I've been chatty, but I figured I would just quickly run through the books that I am very much hoping to read in August. Trying to do a little bit more, just like sitting outside reading in the afternoon and staying off my phone and stuff before bed, so I think I can get through all of these if I'm diligent. I do want to read both of these Taylor Jenkins Reid books. This one is One True Loves, and this is Forever Interrupted. And I think both of these are a little bit older from her, but this one especially I've seen popping up a lot on like Bookstagram and Book Talk and everything lately. Yeah, this is from 2016, so not super old, but yeah, interesting that it is popping up now, I guess, as everybody kind of worked through her newer stories that are the most popular. I think both of these are a little bit more romancy, so I probably will not like them as well as like Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo and Malibu Rising and all those that are a little bit more plot driven, but I could just be talking out of my butt. I don't really know what these are about at all. Gonna go into them pretty blind. I love her writing style, so I will read basically anything from her. I also do want to read this one, another Reese book club pick. This is The Jet Setters, just like the most summer looking book. So I want to read it now before like the whole summer season goes by. And this one just sounds so cute. It says, when 70-year-old Charlotte Perkins submits a sexy essay to the Become a Jet Setter contest, she dreams of reuniting her estranged children, Lee, an almost famous actress, Cord, a handsome Manhattan venture capitalist who can't seem to find a partner, and Regan, a harried mother who took it all wrong when Charlotte bought her a Weight Watchers gift certificate for her birthday. So this seems like a cute little family drama, kind of like Chicken Sisters, but I think I'll just kind of like the overall story of this one better, and it does look like it will be a pretty quick read. Historical fiction, The Secret Book of Flora, Leia, just a beautiful book. I did get this one from Book of the Month. I think I just got it as an add-on at some point. And this is set in war-torn London of 1939. All the historical fiction books are set then. But it follows 14-year-old Hazel and 5-year-old Flora. They're evacuated from their home to a rural village, and they're kind of just hanging out, and then the unthinkable happens when Flora vanishes while playing near the banks of the river. And then I don't know if it jumps back and forth or if it just goes to 20 years later, but the other person, Hazel, is in London, and it sounds like she's gonna try to find out some more information about Flora's disappearance. So even though that's a horrible situation, my goodness, this sounds like it's gonna be a really good book. I think I'm gonna absolutely love it. Another Reese's Book Club pick, The Island of Missing Trees. Just thought this was another one that I needed to get to before summer went by. And this seems kind of more of like a fantastical romance, so I think that'll be a nice break from the other books that I'll be reading. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but it just says, a rich magical new novel on belonging and identity, love and trauma, nature and renewal, from the Booker shortlisted author of 10 minutes, 38 seconds in the Strange World, which I've never heard of that one actually, but I have heard good things about this one. Again, just look at that gorgeous cover. Then I figured we'll just break it up. We'll throw in another Ellen Hilderbrand. We'll see, this might be like one of my last ones from her if it's more cheating. I don't really want to read that in like all of her books. But again, she can write well, and it's just a good option for like a beachy read. Then the last main one I want to read is Emily Henry's People We Meet on Vacation. And I'm gonna be honest, I just kind of got this because everyone was talking about it. I wanted to be able to give a review. But if I'm honest with myself, I've said it here many times, I'm really not a romance girly, so I should probably just not pick up romance books, because it's not even a super accurate review because I just never really liked them that much. But with all that being said, I did like Book Lovers. I thought it was a pretty solid read, so that is the main reason why I did get this one. I figured if I am going to pick up a romance book, I'll pick one up from an author that I do think writes pretty well. But I think from here on out, I won't really be reading very many romances at all unless I hear that the actual plot is very, very solid, or there's like fantasy mixed in, or it's set in a different time period or something like that. Like, I don't mind romance in a book, I just don't like when it's like set in modern day. There's nothing really that exceptional going on, is just following a romance story. But I do like the idea that, you know, these people are on vacation. That can be kind of fun. Summertime, looking for like easier reads, so I think this will be okay. But I guess that's just kind of my update on, I probably won't be reading many romances in the future. But I am getting a surgery on August 24th, and I will be kind of like, I don't know about bedridden, but I probably won't be doing too much for about a week after that surgery. So I'm hoping to get through all of those books during this month of August. And if I do, I am gonna finally read these books, The Court of Thorns and Roses, which literally everybody has read. But if I can get all those done and I'm in the mood to dive into these during that week in bed, I'll maybe do a reading vlog, I guess, depending on how I'm feeling. But I've been looking for an opportunity to kind of just read right through these, if I like them, of course. And I'm sure I will. I've heard nothing but good things about this series. And even though I know like there is some romance, and I just was talking about how I don't want to read romance, it's very, very fantastical, of course. And it's not just like a romance plot. But anyway, let me know what you think about the books that I've read and the books that I want to read. If you have any burning thoughts, please let me know down below. But thank you so much for watching this video. I really appreciate all your support, the likes, the comments. It just helps me grow. So if you wouldn't mind, please give me a big thumbs up. It's really going to help my channel grow. And yeah, thanks so much again for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye!